In today's thrift store challenge, we are headed off to Anthropologie to get loads of inspiration, and then we'll head off to the thrift store to see what we can come up with for a whole lot less. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Starting this video off talking about mirrors, Anthropologie is really known for having really interesting and unique mirror options available on their website. However, they do come at a pretty hefty price tag. While you won't be able to find identical pieces, generally speaking, at the thrift store, you can find things that are really similar but so much more cost effective. For example, I found this black kind of wavy mirror that looks really similar to things I've seen on Anthropologie's website, but this mirror was only $5 originally from Pier 1 Imports for $150. So definitely a significant savings. The other thing I like to kind of take into account is how much work is going to go into this project piece. So there were some nicks and scratches taken out of the wood frame of this mirror, so I just used a color matching marker that is designed for wood, and this is how it turned out. For $5, I think I have a really similar look to something I would see on Anthropologie, but on a budget. In addition to secondhand stores, another store I want to make sure to mention in this video is shopping specifically the clearance through Marshalls and HomeGoods, because you can find really similar things that might, again, just need a tweak or two. So this hot pink mirror just felt a little bit juvenile, so we want to make it feel a little bit more vintage inspired. I taped off the mirror and then just went in with several different metallic spray paints that I already had on hand to get a more kind of vintage-like look. This mirror really just only cost me $5 because I had all of the other supplies already, and even comparing it to stores like Target, which would be considered affordable home decor stores, it's still a major savings by shopping the clearance section as well. Moving along now into accent furniture or just furniture in general, I think that during the summer months, at least in my thrift stores in my area, I notice a huge increase in the amount of furniture available, which of course just increases our odds of finding something really great. However, with that being said, generally the pieces that are in really great condition are a bit pricey, I've noticed, at the thrift store. So what I like to try to look for are pieces that could use a little bit of a makeover or refurbishing. So I found this tea cart here that was a really unique piece. It was just $15, but we had quite a bit of damage. We had some cracking going on. The trim would obviously need to be replaced, but it was overall still in really good condition. To start off this project, I just removed all of the pieces of trim that weren't really hanging on that great, because we are going to be going in with a little bit more of a detailed trim. There are so many different options at hardware stores for more decorative trim, and I feel like that definitely will fall in line with a more Anthropologie aesthetic. Just instead of picking something plain, you have the opportunity to make it feel a little bit more unique and special. Before adding any like Bondo or anything to kind of repair the piece, I just wanted to clean it really well. So I just vacuumed out the bottoms, as well as just taking a degreaser. I like to use the one from Dollar Tree. Once the piece is totally cleaned off, there were some really obvious like cracks and repairs that would need to be made to this piece that I could have just kind of started from scratch and just taken the wheels, but I kind of wanted to keep what was good already there. So I'm just going to fill the cracks as best as possible with this product. I will link in the description box below. It's called Quick Wood. It's a product by JB Weld that is paintable, and it's literally designed for filling gouges and cracks out of wood pieces. So with our new trim pieces attached and everything has been filled and then sanded, it was just time now to choose a paint color. And this is totally personal preference, but I love a pop of black in my space. It adds a more modern touch with the juxtaposition of all of the antique and vintage pieces I have. Went in with some satin black spray paint just to the wood pieces because I still liked that rusticity from the wheel part of this project. So I left that part as it was, but then painted the remainder in a nice satin black. When it comes to the styling of this cart, I think what I could really use this for right now in this season of life is to make me a little bit more excited to do my laundry. And studies show if you like the way something looks, you're a lot more likely to take care of it. So I decided we are going to make this into a little laundry cart station, and I'm going to style all of it using only thrifted or DIY'd accessories. So all of the glassware I've thrifted over time. Also, these towels I recently thrifted were just $1 a piece. These have been super helpful when I have a big spill to clean up or to wipe Murphy's paws when he comes in from being outside. Just a nice way to kind of create a little cleaning station moment, but in an affordable and aesthetic way. Moving along now into some decorative tray options. So this is where, again, in true Anthropologie fashion, things are very detailed and they're very specific. You can almost always tell when something is from Anthropologie. So I ended up finding this piece here at the Goodwill bins, and it only cost $5.84. With heavier pieces like that at the bins, I do like to have them weighed separately just to make sure I am really getting a good deal on that specific piece, especially when I want to compare it to Home Goods or even, God forbid, Pottery Barn. And this ended up being just under $6. I might try to jazz it up a little bit like the one from Anthropologie and add some little tattoo bats for Halloween. And because these surfboards are really only things I would use for actual Halloween nights, I don't want to break the bank, and shopping secondhand is a great way to still get that seasonal feel, but on a budget. Moving along now into pottery. So many beautiful options at Anthropologie, but again, quite expensive. So you can find really great things at the thrift store, but it's just going to be a little bit more of a treasure hunt. So if there's a specific piece of pottery that you really love from Anthropologie, just do yourself a favor, take a screenshot of it on your phone, so then that way when you're in the thrift store, don't even look at the color, the print, the pattern. It's truly amazing what a little bit of paint can do. I thrifted this piece of pottery I think about a year ago now for $3, and you know, I just grew tired of that print and pattern, so I can always just paint it into something that fits my aesthetic more rather than going and buying something. Even again from the thrift store, I have something right here at home. I have the paint here at home that I could just make a kind of distressed piece of pottery, but on a really tight budget. So as I mentioned earlier, I think Anthropologie has specific things that they're kind of known for, like the primrose mirror, but also these minka pots. And I've never seen them anywhere except Anthropologie until last week when I was at Home Goods. I found this one here. It is literally an exact dupe to the one from Anthropologie, but this one was only $16.99, and based on the size, this one would be over $50. So I just did my best to color match to some acrylic paint that I already had and applied it using a foam brush. Such an easy fix, and I think looks super similar to something I would find at Anthropologie, but on a budget. Moving right along now into textiles, there are so many amazing and luxe options at Anthropologie, but they are very expensive. I have seen one thing that is helpful is that when you shop off season at Anthropologie, at least at my Anthropologie in Cleveland, they have a whole room dedicated to their clearance, and you can oftentimes get a pretty good deal on a really high quality textile. But I think it's always worth looking at your thrift store to see what's available, because sometimes you can find exactly what you're looking for if you just do a little bit of digging. And my kind of rule of thumb when it comes to shopping textiles is as long as I can wash it in my washing machine, I feel that it's safe enough to bring home. I found this really beautiful soft pink pillow that will just go perfectly in my daughter's room. I liked that it had a zipper, which just makes washing that much easier. Took the insert that was in place out and then just placed my own inside. In addition to high quality pieces, you'll also notice a theme when it comes to shape. So there's a lot of scalloped edges with Anthropologie textiles. So when I found this tree skirt that was originally $30, but I just paid, again, $3.49 for it. And my thought for this was, now of course I could use this as a tree skirt come Christmas, but my thought was, what if I just folded it in half and then kind of made it into a headboard for my daughter's twin bed? Or worst case, maybe just turning it into a pillow. If you guys have any tips on how I could go about doing this project, leave me a comment down below. Another area of textiles is doormats. Usually the doormats that I happen to find at the thrift store were kind of like donated for a reason. They're faded or there's something wrong with them. So I like to personally go to Home Goods or Marshall's again to find things that are really similar. I found this one here that was on clearance for just $13. Now, of course, I could try to definitely DIY this myself, just buying some jute, grabbing some adhesive, but by the time I buy all of that stuff, in addition to the time it would take me to make it, I would be spending well over $13. So I always try to recommend projects to you guys that make sense not only budget-wise, but also for your time. If you are somebody who really wants to have a personalized doormat though, they also have these options there, which looks so similar to the ones from Anthropologie, and you can literally place whatever you want in the middle, but the basic structure is kind of already done for you. Last but not least is the lighting. So lighting at Anthropologie can be incredibly expensive. So just like every other category, find some lighting that you really love and then go into the thrift store with that intention. And usually, eventually, you'll find something that's really similar, but so much more affordable. So I found this really fun pendant light here that looks so similar to this one from Anthropologie that is sold out. All I really needed to do to this was switch out the light bulb and bend one or two pieces back into their kind of folded place. And that really wrapped it up for this project. I didn't have to paint anything. I didn't barely have to DIY anything. And it's such a fun moment in my daughter's bedroom. And that really wraps it up for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments which project or hack or find was your favorite, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye for now.